The galaxy first noticed humanity the same way you notice a mosquito in your bedroom. Small, insignificant, but somehow impossible to ignore. A single blip on the long-range scanners. A ship. Just one. Not even a proper battleship. More like something a junkyard would cough up if you kicked it hard enough. And yet, when the blip accelerated, half the sector screamed. Because no ship should move like that. Not with 4 engines. The official galactic rulebook, 5,000 years of carefully curated naval wisdom, was clear. 2 engines, maximum. 3 if you were feeling particularly reckless. 4. Pure madness. 4 engines meant tearing space-time like wet paper. It meant overheating reactors, suicidal trajectories, and a pilot dumb, or clever, enough to test both at once. Naturally, the humans did it. The ship was called the Jackdaw. A lopsided beast, all uneven plating and questionable welds, painted in matte black with streaks of white that suspiciously resembled spray paint spelling, "Don't panic, unless we tilt left." And her captain, her charming, ever-smiling captain, was Commander Marcus Kane. Kane had a reputation for 3 things: never raising his voice, never missing an opportunity for sarcasm, and never losing. He had the kind of calm, school-principal demeanor that made you feel vaguely guilty even if you hadn't done anything wrong. His enemies said he was unnerving. His allies said he was worse. On the day it all began, Kane strolled onto the bridge with a steaming mug of coffee and a pleasant smile. "Status?" "Surrounded, sir," replied Ensign Vega, who had long since given up on wondering why humans were like this. Kane sipped his coffee. "Surrounded? Lovely. Saves us the fuel cost of hunting them down." On the view screen, the proud crimson hulls of the Zoral Dominion fleet glared back. 50 ships, each bristling with enough firepower to wipe out a continent. And in the middle of their perfect circle, floating like a pigeon in a falcon's nest, was the Jackdaw. The Zoral commander's voice boomed through the comms, "Human vessel, cut your engines and prepare for assimilation." Kane set down his mug. Assimilation. Such a clinical word for robbery. He smiled warmly. "I'm flattered, really, but we're busy today." "Rain check." The alien hissed. "You are outnumbered 50 to 1. Kane nodded politely. "That's true. But, if I may, you're out-engined 4 to 2. The alien blinked, confused, then offended. "What does that even?" "Engines," Kane said, cheerfully tapping the console. "We bolted on 4. We don't follow your rulebook. We barely follow our own parking regulations." And then the Jackdaw moved. The first thing the Zoral fleet noticed was speed. Ungodly speed. The human ship leapt forward like a drunken comet, leaving contrails of ionized gas that spiraled like graffiti across space. It wasn't sleek or elegant. It was chaos wrapped in metal, tearing through formation with a grin. The second thing they noticed was agility. No ship that size should have been able to dodge like that. But the Jackdaw danced, skimming hulls, corkscrewing between cannons, accelerating and braking with bone-snapping precision. And the third thing, the truly horrifying thing, was that Kane was laughing. Over open comms. "Do you know what 4 engines means, my friends? It means options. And humans love options. Coffee or tea. Cats or dogs. Fight or flight." The Jackdaw somersaulted through an impossible arc. Spoiler: we usually pick fight. The galaxy had always thought of humans as quaint. Fragile. Nice little experiment, one more species to fold into the grand empire. They didn't realize Earth bred strategists the way other planets bred weeds. Because humans had grown up playing games. Chess. Poker. Risk. Video games that train generations to think 10 moves ahead, to feint, to bluff, to win with style. To them, war wasn't horror, it was just the next level. The Jackdaw wasn't fighting 50 ships. It was playing 50 players. And Kane? He was the smiling dealer at the table. Within minutes, the Zoral formation crumbled. Ships collided trying to pursue. Friendly fire lit the void. And still, Kane's voice rolled across the comms, as polite as ever. "Careful, you're tripping over yourselves. It's embarrassing. And in front of company, too. You cannot win, one alien barked. Win. Kane chuckled. Oh, friend, you misunderstand. This isn't about winning. This is about making you afraid to play again. The battle should have been a massacre. Instead, it became a symphony of humiliation. Every missile the Zoral fired came back at them, redirected by improvised countermeasures. Their ships found themselves herded like cattle, nudged into asteroids, tangled in their own tractor beams. At one point, Kane transmitted a simple Earth song, something jaunty and ridiculous, complete with banjo, to every enemy bridge. Half the Zoral crew collapsed into disarray trying to mute it. The other half wondered why the humans were laughing. Hours later, when the smoke cleared, the Zoral fleet wasn't destroyed. Not one ship had been annihilated. Instead, every vessel drifted, engines dead, weapons fried, crews stunned. The Jackdaw hadn't killed them. It had humiliated them. And in the galaxy, humiliation spread faster than plasma fire. Other empires tried. The Krail Swarm sent 100 ships. The Thalorian Ascendancy sent 200. The Keth Syndicate sent 500. Each time, the Jackdaw danced. 4 engines blazing, burning physics like kindling, making mockery of fleets 10 times its size. And each time, Kane was smiling. Polite. Charming. Almost apologetic. Sorry about your ship. Terrible paint job, by the way. Your formation is lovely, really. Hate to ruin it. Do let your emperor know we're not interested in joining his book club. Soon, rumors spread. Children on distant worlds whispered of the human ship with 4 engines, tearing holes through entire armadas. Soldiers muttered about the polite captain who destroyed without killing, who laughed while rewriting the rules of war. The galaxy, for all its power, began to flinch at shadows. One human ship, one captain, and fear blooming like wildfire. And then came the twist. One day, Kane broadcast across the galactic network. Come. Smiling. Coffee mug in hand. My friends, he said, you've all been asking the same question. Why does humanity only send one ship? Why just the Jackdaw? Surely we must have more. He paused. Let the silence grow. Well, he said pleasantly, the truth is simple. He leaned closer to the camera, voice soft, almost intimate. We only needed one. The galaxy went very, very quiet. But Kane wasn't done. He set his mug down, straightened his tie, and added, with the calm menace of a man discussing the weather, of course, if you insist on further demonstrations. Behind him, the camera shifted, revealing dockyards in Earth orbit. And in those yards, half hidden under scaffolds and shadow, were not one, but dozens of hulls. Each bristling with experimental drives. Each with 4 engines. Kane smiled. Well, we do love options. The broadcast ended, and the galaxy began to run.